Veriblock. Is it good or bad for crypto? Could it even maybe destroy Bitcoin? Hey and welcome to today's video. My name is Julian. On my channel, it's all about making you crypto fit. That means talking about things like blockchain, cryptocurrencies, decentralization, but also things like entrepreneurship and mindset. And today I want to cover a topic that has been in the news lately because a company or a new coin called Veriblock has been using the Bitcoin network and has actually been almost filling the mempool and accounting for close to 28% of all the Bitcoin transactions. And obviously there was a huge outcry. A lot of people on Twitter, on Reddit, also in the news have been saying that whatever Veriblock is doing is very damaging, is very harmful, and it's something that shouldn't be tolerated. And so I want to discuss what does this actually do, how does it work, and what's my personal opinion on all this. For those of you that don't know the exact coding in Bitcoin, but basically what you have is you have all these opcodes, and these opcodes execute code. And you have one opcode that says op return. And if you are in coding, you know that you can make these statements and then you have a return function. And basically everything that's afterwards, after return, is just being ignored. And the same is the case in Bitcoin. You can run this op return, and then afterwards you can leave some very small text, some white space. And this white space is not being executed, but it's still gonna be recorded on the blockchain as part of the transaction. And actually Satoshi used this in the very first block when he cited this newspaper. And there have been many companies who have been using this kind of white space. Tether, for example, using the Omni protocol, is pretty much running on the Bitcoin blockchain using this white space as well. And so basically what Veriblock has been doing is been allowing people to verify things, store information that then gets brought into the Bitcoin blockchain by recording this information in this white space after op return. Now, you could record pretty much anything. I even know, for example, the University of Nicosia is recording certificates, but you could record anything that you want to put in there, company registrations and so on. And so what Veriblock wants to do is it wants to record and wants to make it very usable for companies to kind of record things on the Bitcoin blockchain and using the power that Bitcoin has, and storing it there. And so on the one hand, it's a very good thing because the Bitcoin blockchain receives even more value, right? I think that's very straightforward because it's used even for more information. But then on the other hand, for every one of those transactions, what you basically are doing is you're sending a pretty much empty transaction, and you just have to pay the mining fee for this transaction, and you include this information. So you're pretty much filling up a block with a non-transaction, if you want to call it, just to store this information. And this is obviously a big criticism, while at the same time you have this big upside. My personal opinion on this, though, is that at the end, it's just a give and take. And if it's economical for them to store information that way, then they have to pay the mining fee and it's good. And at the end, everyone benefits. Yes, they're going to be spamming the Bitcoin blockchain for a certain time, but as soon as prices go up, at some point, it's not going to be economical. So there's going to be this fair value, in my opinion, that's going to be coming in. And who says what update to the Bitcoin blockchain is more valuable than another one? Why is a financial transaction more valuable than storing something else? I think this is definitely a very neutral, objective system. And who says what the Bitcoin blockchain is supposed to be used for? It's supposed to be used for storing information. And yes, part of it, or the majority, is financial information, but you could store so many other things in there as well. And I think that's the kind of magic, especially when you use these kind of sidechains. Now, obviously, this is not going to be the permanent story because what this company has been doing so far is just mirroring their own transaction and putting them into the Bitcoin blockchain. And that's how these 28% of all the transactions are coming from. Now, if you have been following them, and there's a reason why I'm doing this video now afterwards, there was an initial exchange offering done by them where they are pushing their own coin, and they want to create their own blockchain so that they can have these side chains where all the transactions are happening, and then they only need to push the Merkle root of one of their blocks into the Bitcoin blockchain and secure the information this way. So they would be cutting down massively on their transactions. And they did the initial exchange offering. I think at the moment the price of the coin is even lower at the initial exchange offering, so quite an interesting time to get in. But all this is really at the start, and I want to have a really big warning there. We have seen these things many times over the past couple of years. This is not something brand new. So I want to kind of highlight, this could be just a farce, not going to be working out, just great attention, because they're definitely riding the attention train on piggybacking on Bitcoin. They have been receiving a lot of criticism from this, right? Because, yeah, you're just piggybacking on the news of that. But then you have some upside, because if they're really doing a great job and they have some great team members, who knows, right? They could build something that's very usable for most people who normally can't store everyday information that way. So if you're interested, you can check out their token. They're, I think on CoinMarketCap, they're not really listed yet because it's quite new, and you can only buy it on Bittrex at the moment. I have a few coins because I just wanted to see how all this is working. Not very significant, so it's not. There's very little financial incentive, and they have huge trading volume. So I also checked this out. So it's very unlikely that I'm going to be manipulating anything with this video. Otherwise, I would have waited a bit later. But definitely very interesting, and obviously a lot of pros, a lot of cons. Also on social media, I'm definitely not as much against this because I think at the end it's a give and take. And the reason I'm so pro for the Bitcoin blockchain is because it is so large and it is so stable and it is so secure. And who says it should be only used for the Bitcoin transaction as a financial update? Many companies, Tether, all kinds of company registration, certificates, and so on are already using this white space after op return to send additional information and store this for maybe eternity. Satoshi did this in the very first transaction where he kind of cited this newspaper. And so I think, well, this is a very straightforward kind of answer in my opinion. Otherwise, Satoshi wouldn't have done it in the very first block. Very interesting would obviously be, what do you think about all this? If you want to buy some tokens, you need to go on Bittrex and check this out. I'll link up a lot of other links, some of the controversy, of the goods, of the bads. This is my opinion. Let me know what you think. Definitely interesting. And yeah, looking forward for a thumbs up. Share this. I think a lot of people are going to be very interested. I think we're going to hear them a lot more in the news right now because they're going to be piggybacking. They are going to be filling the mempool. So that's going to be interesting to see how that's going to go. Well, with this, I hope you're getting value out of this. I'll see you at the next video. Yours truly, Julian.